Welcome to the Tool Review channel. Today we were taking a look at the Knipex 1346-165 wire dismantling pliers. Now, these aren't typically a very familiar pair of pliers, I would say, for people here in the United States, because they are a very specific use pair of pliers, and the wire that these are really meant for working with, we don't really have here in the United States. I don't believe it's even like a thing here. Now these are meant for working with NYM cable or wire, however you guys want to call it, which is a wire that they use over in Europe a lot. I'm not sure which European countries use it the most. I would assume Germany is one of them, and England might be another one as well, but Germany definitely uses a lot of NYM cable, and this tool or this plier is specifically meant for working with that specific cable. So we're going to start off the review here. Now these are obviously these are the VDE 1000 volt rated handles. I do believe you can get this tool with just the standard comfort grip style handles. I believe you can get them polished or chrome plated. If you're wanting to get them in the, as you see here with the VDE handles, that only does come chrome plated. So that is, you know, one side about getting the insulated version of it. So if you don't need the insulated version, you can definitely get the, I believe it's just the polished or the chrome plated as well with the standard comfort grip handles. But obviously these are the VDE handles. So as you can see here, you have your model number right there, 1346-165, and then you have all of the certifications that the tool goes through to prove that it is insulated and it will protect you. Now, I believe Knipex tests their tools up to 10,000 volts, but obviously they're rated for 1,000 volts. And this tool is, being a Knipex, going to be made in Germany. And now this number right here on the bottom, which is 21, tells you the year that the tool was produced. Just in case, you know, you have a pair of pliers that you've been using forever, and, you know, you're starting to notice that stuff's getting worn out, that date's going to be able to tell you when the tool was produced. Because, you know, over time, the insulation on the pliers can wear down, and then it's not going to do as much protection as it would day one when you got it out of the box. So that's one thing to note about that, is they always, for the most part, on almost all of the insulated tools from Knipex, they put the year it was manufactured on there. And then if you come into the inside of the handle, you have your IEC code right there. You have Knipex right there, and then you have Made in Germany and some other stuff right there. It's pretty much the same on both handles. And then when you come to the side, it's the standard red and yellow VDE colors. You have the 1000 volt rated up there. You got the two triangles, and then you got the Knipex right there. And then coming to the back side, you have your barcode that's on most of the Knipex pliers, but not on all. And then as you can see, this is the back side of the plier. You have your cutting jaws right there, two stripping holes, and then you have the stripper up here as well, which I will show you how to use that here in a minute. And then coming up to the front of the plier, you can see you have the Knipex and your model number right there, and then Germany on the bottom. Now, one thing about German and or American made or Japanese tools, you're going to know that they're made there because they like to, you know, promote that that's where the tool was made. So you're going to see it more than one place on a tool. As the case here, you see Germany right there, and then you see it right there, and then on the inside of the handles as well. And then coming up to here, you have the pretty solid cutting knife on the plier right there, and then you have your two stripping holes, so this can strip 2.5 and 1.5 millimeter wire, and then you have your knives up here that is meant for piercing the NYM cable, cutting that outer insulation, and it is designed to only cut through that outer insulation and not damage the conductors and or the insulation of the wires on the inside of the wire as well. So that's pretty much it for the detail on these. Now we'll go ahead and zoom out here, and we'll get to some of the functionality. So we have our NYM, I believe this is NYM J cable right here. I'm not very familiar with this wire, so I'm not sure what all the different, the dash numbering or lettering does, what it means for this cable. This, I just happened to find it on Amazon. I did import it from the UK, and I will show you how this tool works. So the one thing, most of the time when you're working with this wire, or at least how they showed it in the Knipex video, is this wire was coming through a box, or I'm not really sure what you guys call them over there in the UK, but it was basically a box mounted on the wall, and this wire was sticking through it, and you kind of stuck the tool in there and went around and pierced off that insulation. So go ahead and do that here. So we'll go ahead and make some indentations on the wire right there, and then we'll go ahead and pull it off here in a second. So we'll go ahead and pierce that insulation all the way around, squeeze it a few times, and then basically what they showed was they set the pliers down and then they just kind of bent it off, and then they were able to pull off that insulation, and then they pulled all this stuff off as well, and then it exposed all of the wires there on the inside. Now this is 2.5 millimeter. There's 5 wires here on the inside, so go ahead and split all those out as well, right there. And then we will go ahead and use the stripping function on the tool. And I have to say it does do a fairly decent job at stripping the wire. As you can see right there, you are able to remove that insulation. You do have to use a little bit of force, but you can do it. It's fairly easy to do, as you can see right there. You can strip that wire, no problem whatsoever. As you can see, boom. It has no problem whatsoever cutting through that insulation. So now we'll go ahead and test out that the cutting knives on here. So we'll go ahead and stick 3 wires in there and see how much force we have to use to get through all 3. And as you can see, you can get through all 3 no problem whatsoever. So definitely getting through 2 is going to be a little bit easier than getting through 3. We'll go ahead and cut through that right there. As you can see, no problem whatsoever cutting through all 3 of those wires. Now, the cutting knife on here, you're not really going to be, I personally haven't been able to get it to cut through this entire wire itself. You can get it to cut through the wires there on the inside, but on the outside, definitely you're going to struggle a little bit. Now, one thing to note about the chrome-plated tools is for obvious reasons, they sharpen the cutting knives on the tool before they chrome plate the tool. Just, it's common sense there. So it does tend to add a little bit of material onto the cutting knives, which can make it a little bit more difficult to cut through some different kinds of wire. Just depends on what you're working with. But other than that, this is a pretty interesting tool, I have to say, that Knipex has to offer. I'm not sure if anyone else or any of the other, tool manufacturers based over in Europe make something similar to this. I just thought it was a pretty interesting pair of pliers and decided that I wanted to get my hands on them. Now, at the time of filming this video, there's only about 1 place in the United States that you can currently get the insulated pair of these pliers, and that is from Chad's Toolbox. I will leave a link in the description down below. That'll take you right over to the page. But if you are interested in getting maybe just the comfort grip versions, I do believe KC Tool does offer these as well. So I will leave a link to that in the description as well. But other than that, it's a pretty interesting pair of pliers, I have to say. Definitely not something you're going to run into here in the United States as of yet. Since, Europe and, all across the world, everyone's wiring and electrical work is a little bit different from everyone else. They just each their own. So these are definitely an interesting pair of pliers, and just thought I'd pick them up and kind of share a review with you guys here on them. But that's all I have for this video. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video to be uploaded.